Welcome to Building Liberated Communities while navigating traumatic systems, leading, surviving, and thriving without losing yourself. As part of the Top 100 Most Powerful Black Women Summit, March 2016, I am your facilitator, Ocean Anuru, LMS WMPH, founder and managing director of Dream Keep Consulting. So I affectionately call the learners in my community of Dream Keep Hood Scholars. So welcome to the home of the Hood Scholars. We will be going over a few things. First off, I want to introduce myself as well as my consulting firm, Dream Keep Consulting. But then we're going to jump right into it. We're going to think about together navigating chaos and trauma, really being honest about the world we're in and what that means as Black women. What does it mean for us to have actual, really deep self-care that centers us and honors us? And then we're going to think about trust, emotional labor, and boundaries, because when you're thinking about how to take care of you, extending into how to take care of your people, you really want to make sure that those things are really, really strong. Your boundaries around emotional labor, because we're often carrying so much, and we really want to think about how do we best continue to serve each other as well as ourselves, right? And then we're going to think about institutions and community levels of showing up for one another. And we're going to close with dreaming for the future. If you didn't notice, I like dreaming a little bit. So let's get us started. So I am, again, Ocean Anuru, but I was born Rebecca. So if you have seen me in the past, you've probably heard of me as Rebecca. I was named after my mother when I was born. She passed away when I was 2 days old. I am grateful for her sacrifice, but I realized that holding the trauma of one of the worst days of my life in my name became a really heavy burden for me. And that's just one of the ways that I wanted to show up for myself. So I have a 16-year long career now. I can't really believe it, but time has been flying. I am currently finishing up my PhD in business psychology. I am working on my last few classes as well as my dissertation. The literature review is doing some things to me, right? But it's okay, because for the love of Black adolescents, teenagers, and young adults, I will do it every time to show them that they're worth that level of investment, right? So I'm originally from the Bronx, which is why I represent the hood. I happily ghetto. I don't really ascribe to Black elitism. I love Blackness in all of its forms, and I'm always going to want what's best for all of us, right? As such, that's reflected in our mission. Dream Keep Consulting champions healing-centered engagement to create learning opportunities that promote self-reflection, community care, and activism towards liberation. We unapologetically embody authenticity to build brave spaces that invite transformative change processes in individuals, groups, and organizations. We use lived experience to build knowledge. We try to make really complex things really simple and easy to work with and sit with and grow through, right? So most of our services are around customized workshops. So what you're going to be witnessing today is a customized workshop just for y'all as Black women thinking about entrepreneurship, and also just thinking about the very weird worldly moment we're in and being honest about that and holding space for that. I like to say I am a container for big feelings, and that's okay. I really think that is key to learning and developing and getting towards radical change and revolution in spaces as necessary, right? So I always want to think about who's my audience, how are we showing up for each other, and what ways and mediums work to learn best, right? And so I also do a lot of facilitation work of hard conversations and organizational spaces. Change and transformation within organizations and programs is really important to me. So if you need some specialized service, just let me know. I also have an online course all about trauma, working on getting Dream Keep approved so that I can offer social work CEUs, continuing education units. So yeah, we trying to do some things. All right. So let me know what you need. All right, let's get started. All right. So I wanted to take a moment to really just be honest about how hard and weird things are right now. Right. So between the blank files, the orange things happening and very sudden decisions and all these things. We seeing a lot. And now we're seeing other bodies be attacked and people are starting to care. But like, as Black folks, we've been watching people deal with these really harsh things for years. Like we're at least a solid decade in of the Black Lives Matter movement, and we know what's up, right? So it's like we know what carnage is, we know what suffering is on a mass scale, and I just want to say that like the constant inundation of being aware of how much is happening in the world is really, really new. That's very like within the last 100 years type stuff, like within my lifetime type stuff, honestly, because the internet really popping off. That's why like when bombs drop, we know exactly what's happening because people just have many computers in their pockets, right? So we really want to think about all of these things are happening and we're also trying to think and manifest and build, right? So how do we hold space for this wicked world while also holding space for ourselves to grow through, right? So let's think about that, right? So there are some types of trauma. Trauma can be witnessed, experienced, or have happened to a very close loved one of yours, and it will feel like something has happened to you. Your perception of trauma is what matters. So you and another person can go through the same thing, but this person ends up traumatized and you don't. It don't really, there's no hierarchy to it. Trauma is about your body, mind, heart, and spirit trying to protect yourself. So an acute trauma happens one time. These are some examples. We don't typically think about some of these, but racism is definitely a trauma. It's just a cumulative and overarching chronic trauma. So it's important that we think about like the many ways that being harmed kind of exists in our society. Just try to make sure that you are holding space for yourself and like your experiences, because we live in a world that tries to erase the truth. So like, let's try to make sure that we're holding on to our experiences and validating ourselves in that, right? And then secondary or vicarious trauma is when you've been taking care of people, you've been showing up for people, and like them going through things is starting to, like, you're starting to feel like it's almost happening to you, like in terms of how hurt you are, like because you're watching their suffering, you're having to hold space for their pain. So you really just want to hold space, honestly, for yourself and others that you are engaging with. It is hard to not hurt for the people that we are trying to show up for, right? So these are just some quick examples to get us started, right? Now, I want to give a holistic overview though of trauma, because the thing is, we tend to only think about interpersonal or I went through this drastic event trauma when we're thinking about it. But I have been thinking about trauma for my entire life because I lived a very traumatized life growing up, right? So I want us to think about trauma actually across settings and levels. Like there's layers to this. Like I really want you to hold that you might be witnessing trauma in a whole bunch of different ways, right? So let's start with structural trauma. This is like overarching things in our society that kind of hold space and create experiences, but like technically it feels like the powers that be, it feels elusive. Everyone feels like they can create a different like interpretation of things, but there are some foundational understandings like white supremacy culture, anti-blackness. There are certain things embedded within that and certain feelings, certain isms within that really make it hard for folks to structurally succeed. So that disinvestment in communities is really important because it's actually deliberate. People make systems. So systems are people and people make systems. So if y'all don't remember nothing else from me, systems are people, baby. Like, please hold on to that, right? So we really want to think about how are we like changing the dynamics? How are we changing our language? How are we changing how we're showing up? Because that does inform these structural underpinnings of things. And then on the community level, we're thinking about how people believe or make judgments about others based on a variety of different things. When we look at a Black child, what are we expecting from them? What what assumptions are being made about them, right? People as a collective, we can come together and transform some traumatic experiences. So, for example, in the wake of a natural disaster, we can come together, mutual aid, all types of stuff. The amount of showing out and showing up during the COVID pandemic was phenomenal, beautiful, right? So we want to do things like that, especially with collective traumas, right? Institutionally, we want to think about practices within institutions. So we're thinking about schools, organizations, stuff like that, like places where people gather that trauma can sit in dysfunction. Like, I know y'all all had that workplace that's like, oh my God, like what is happening here? Like, what? So we want to be honest about that, right? And then we know about family trauma. We're not honest enough about it in the Black community, but we know about it, right? So we really want to think about like domestic violence, sexual violence, and like this can be romantic relationships, platonic relationships, that just your chosen loved ones. Like if people are being problematic around you too, like whoever your people are, your acquaintances, whatever, like this stuff can be really hard to grapple with, especially if you have assigned roles and stuff and what you're trying to survive. It can be very, very hard to navigate. So please give yourself grace, give others grace, and try to just be down for folks. And obviously, that individual level of trauma is the beginning and base of all understandings of trauma, because your individual experience of the trauma is what is defining all of that, right? So let's think about self-care. Now that we know like the ickies, let's try and think about what support, love, and empower can look like, right? So you're already doing some self-care. Some of my favorites is I'm gonna take a nap, baby. My mama told my cousin while I was in the womb, I was a sleepy baby. And to this day, honey, if I am happy, I'm probably gonna take a nap. If I'm really upset, I'm probably gonna take a nap. Probably gonna fuss and cuss first and then take a nap. But if I've had a full day, I'm probably going to take a nap. Or I'm just going to sleep really good at night. It doesn't matter, but sleep is probably my answer to like, yay, life is great or stuff is going sideways. That's okay. But I'm also likely to pray. I have a bunch of altars throughout my home, different deities and bodies and ancestors that's trying to tap in with me. But I'm also going to spend a lot of time alone. I love people. I love showing up for us. But I also love decompressing because people can be really exhausting, right? So some of these you're going to be really strong with. Some of these you're going to want to experiment with. I will bring up other examples of like boundaries and creating like goals and stuff like that throughout this time that we're together. But like try to actually just take your time and build some concrete stuff, right? So you want to think about your non-negotiables. Sleep hygiene is really important, please. Like if you are not sleeping 7 to 9 hours a day, something's wrong. Like you need to be sleeping that much. Your body, like for example, the idea that you can catch up on sleep, that's a lie. Like it's not real. So please know that like you can oversleep that one day on the weekend. That didn't count for the other days. It didn't count, like, so you really need to sleep. But, brushing your teeth twice a day, taking a shower, like if you're really depressed and down, like are there some foundational things, right? Know and adjust your expectations. What does your worst day look like versus what does your best day look like? All right. Like on your best day, you're going to be getting mad stuff done, right? But on your worst day, you got to change your expectations to be like, you know what? I did good today. I tried my hardest. I wasn't able to get as much as I might have planned done, but I got some of it done, right? You really want to make sure like in your self-care plan is also taking care of the people that's dependent on you. So if you got kids, you caregiving, like make sure they part of the self-care plan, but also like, let them know your boundaries sometimes. Like when we transition from home and school and stuff, do we have time to like everybody just hug, kiss, but everybody just go into their separate areas to decompress, and then we all come together later to synthesize stuff together, right? I'm gonna do a like shameless like plug for Finch I love that self-care app. It has gotten me through so much. Please check it out if you haven't. And try to have a plan. Like, again, that best worst case scenario type thing. Create a self-care plan from that. Like, for me, I need 30 minutes of movement a day. Does that happen on my triggered weeks? No. But it is a goal. And I'm going to make sure that I know that, like, committing to myself in that way is priority, whether or not I'm able to actually attain it, right? So just hold space for you and honor you. This is love, right? So when it comes to protecting your energy, it's a little complex sometimes, but we want to be as honest as possible, all right? So if the news is too much, get off of it. Just don't engage. Get off of social media if it's too much. Like, it's okay. Like, it's okay. You will have summaries. Like, people will have summary videos, news articles, whatever, when you are okay and better able to engage, right? And then you also want to think, who's your people that can actually just digest that stuff and spit it out to you? If something serious happens, can they alert you? Like, for example, most people around my age remember who they called when everybody found out about Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman and stuff. And just like, especially like when that, like, the court stuff got revealed and stuff, like, know who your people are, like, and know specifically, like, who can actually process that with you type energy. Okay. Like, and I know that's a very, like, particular example, but like, you have, like, I think with the world as it is right now, we have to be prepared for escalations, right? And we don't want to be desensitized, though. So we do want to protect ourselves, but we also want to be as tapped in as possible. So when we're thinking about trust, emotional labor, and boundaries, we're thinking about how do we honor ourselves and honor others at the same time, always. So trust is earned. Trust is earned. Don't be out here projecting all your goodness on other people. like you gotta read people for what they are. What are their values? How are their behaviors showing up? Are they good at stuff? Can they actually help you with the stuff they offer to help you with? Are they just saying stuff out the side of their neck? Like, are they, do they show up for you? Like, the way you show up for them, that reliability. Are they able to be authentic? Are they the same person in front of other people? They wishy-washy? Is they sincere? Like, trust your discernment and do not give your trust haphazardly. I have learned the hard way, right? I have really high integrity. Other people flock to that, but they don't like it when it reflects back to them, because I'm going to be like, oh, that's not proper. That's not how we should be handling each other. Oh, people do not like accountability. So notice who is around you, how people are moving. Can they hold space for you the way you hold space for them? Do they care? And you need to remove stuff you don't care about. Like, you really want to think about specifically building that level of trust in yourself so that you can be in community well, right? Additionally, for Black women, it is so important for us to think about emotional labor. It's like you need to put it down. Like, put it down. Like, literally, if it ain't yours, it's not yours. When one of my friends vents to me, as soon as that phone conversation is over, it's gone. It's not mine. Give it back. Give it back. It's not yours. I also wear a giant, big black tourmaline on my neck because I love me some showing up for my people, but I love me being able to listen to myself a lot too. So black tourmaline helps me discern other people's energies from mine. I used to melt into other people on some empath stuff. That was exhausting. Give yourself your energy back, okay? Please decompress. Like, prioritize it. Make time for it. Show up for yourself after you have shown up for others. Don't be doing this running yourself ragged stuff. It don't work. It don't work. I know Black women, we have been conditioned into that, but step out of it. It's not. Again, sleeping naps. I don't care if it's just My granddaddy I used to sit on his lap and talk his head off, and he used to be like, Beck, I'm going to just rest my eyes, baby. I'm going to just rest my eyes. I don't care if you got to do that. Like 10, 15 minutes, just close your eyes. The world is overwhelming right now. I need 10 minutes to just see the back of my eyelids. You ain't got to be asleep. Like, it's just, there are so many different kinds of rest. There are so many different kinds of rest. You really want to make sure that you are prioritizing resting your mind, heart, and body for this kind of showing up, right? And then in terms of your boundaries and values, you really want to think about, like, first off, know your values, know your non-negotiables, like know you, and see if people actually align with that. If they don't align with that, let them go. Like, it's okay. Community is meant to be dynamic, right? It's meant to be changing, ever changing, right? And then if people overstep or prove themselves to be ungrateful, you really want to think about, like, oh, I like me enough to not stay where I'm not appreciated. So that's part of boundaries too. Loving yourself enough to be like, oh, I don't have to tolerate this, right? So know what you can deal with and what you can't deal with overall, and like really try to work through those things, right? And again, know your people. I love this little connection because it has all these different ways of thinking about, like, all right, the bottom of the wheel is these are the people that I'm really like, all right, I'm honoring them because I care about them. Like, oh my goodness, like these are like, these are my folks, right? And then you have like the acquaintances, people are around, all that, but like you need to know how much of yourself to give to different kind of people. Some people I'm gonna drop everything for. Some people I'm going to get to their message when I can. So just try to like know where you stand on that, right? And then also know how the lives of your loved ones look. And then like if you need safety words, safety planning certain things with different people, when you can just tell, like, my mama said everything was okay, but she not okay. Like, like, know your people, like, really know them, like, know them outside of superficial things so that if there is a crisis going on, you can, like, you have a little bit more awareness, right? It's important. So I want us to pivot now from thinking about that internal and interpersonal, person to person specific support. I want us to think about, all right, like in schools, at work, all types of stuff like that. Like, and then in the broader community, how do we move and navigate through that positively, right? So let's think about institutions. A lot of these places you have to work, they don't like Black people. Be honest. Be aware, like, be okay with the fact that, like, oh, this person is being problematic. You don't have to hold space for that. Like, you do not have to hold extended space for that. If someone does something really racist at work, you move on with your day. You go find safety and go mind your business. All right. Like, you do not have to keep giving energy to people apologizing that don't even really mean it. They're just saying it because they got caught, like stuff like that. Know your limits. Question systems. If something looks racist, it probably is. Like, quacks like a duck. Like, and then have healthy boundaries. So, for example, outside of my working hours for my part-time job, I'm very strong on, like, hey, like, I know it's cultural that some fields of work people will check their stuff after hours and stuff. I am not part of that culture. I am unavailable when I am not actively working. Like, that's important. Like, and also, like, what values of your organization are they okay with? Like, oh, this one manager is like a menace to like everybody, and the organization is just okay with that. Okay, I don't align with that. I come here for my check. I need to go mind my business. Like, like, do what you need to do to make a safe space for yourself. Okay. And this, I like this diagram specifically because organizational trust, like, in a healthy organization, this is what you want. You want people that care. They know what they're doing. They're open and transparent. Systems make sense. There's some predictability up in there, and everybody's standing 10 toes in what they're doing. They got integrity and accountability. That's what you want. That ain't what you always get, but that's what you want, right? And then I like this diagram actually for the same reason. It's again showing those good things when we want to think about if an organizational culture is toxic or anything like that. How do we like really, what should we be seeing in a healthy type of dynamic, right? You are your job description. The job is not there without you. So take care of yourself. Take time off if you need to. Do not try to bring your work home if you can avoid it. All right. Like, if you need a therapist to help you process what's on your job, do that. If you got a specific friend that likes to kiki with you about that, do that. But also be wary of every time I'm calling my friend, I'm talking about the same thing, and it's just like that's exhausting. That's exhausting. Try not to bring that into your personal time, right? Again, decompress, decompress, decompress. I personally listen to music like almost immediately anytime I'm frustrated deeply. So if I am in an organizational space and I can't cut up, and I'm from the hood, so you know what my cutting up look like. My cutting up look like I might have some choice, strong words. I can't do that in a professional setting. I am going to go listen to music. I'm going to text a friend. I'm going to call somebody. I'm going to leave if I absolutely have to. Because there have been scary moments in certain work situations where I'm like, oh, yep, gotta go. Like, it's just not even safe today. I hope y'all can manage this without me. I'm sorry, right? For your business, you want to think about how do I carry this business while it carries me? Okay. So these are some self-care pillars to think about, but you really want to have systems in your business so that like, if you have to disappear for a day or two just because your mind is melting, your business should be able to survive that. All right. So again, delegate as needed. Know what things you don't like to do or what things are your strengths and stuff. I know solopreneurs, we sometimes have to do a little bit of everything. I'm a project manager myself, so again, I can do almost anything. Do I like it? No. I can put together really big events. Do I like it? No, I'm stressed out that entire day. I'm stressed out for weeks and weeks and weeks, probably months before the big event I'm planning. Will the event go off without a hitch? Yes. Will I feel like I'm in one piece? Not really. So in my future life, if I'm doing real big event planning, I might have to pay somebody. So again, like make sure you know what you need to delegate, right? And ask for help. I know it's hard. Black women be having a hard time with that, but we just gonna have to figure it out, okay? Ask for help, baby. All right. In terms of community engagement, you want to think about knowing your neighbors. If you don't know them, say hi. Know your local shop owners. Know people that might have resources. Know what's around in your neighborhood. Just know. Like, again, go for walks. Look around. There's like a little podcast studio up the block from me. And I was like, where did that even come from? That's so cool. Like, like just know what's around, right? You really want to think about the context of your city, your state, your country. Like the broader narratives that are coming out right now are kind of alarming. It's important that you're aware of stuff like that, okay? Because if they're talking about sicking people on people and stuff, you need to know stuff like that. So just be honest with yourself about that stuff. Also, just honor your capacity. Are you disabled? Physically, can you organize in certain ways? Not the same way. So just be really aware of your body, your heart, your mind, your needs. Are you in a depressive episode? Are you mourning something? Like, just know where you're at. Release, like, do not copy the same systems that have tired us. Capitalism is a hard system to survive. We do not have to bring that into our organizing. Put some restoration, all of that stuff. Like, do what you can. And let's think about our dreams for the future. 'Cause, 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 'cause what is we here for? Right? All right. So firstly, Again, we are Black and proud and happy and joyous despite our need for our resilience. So I want to just hold space for, we have been learning, growing, moving through these things for so long. Everything that has tried to rip us from this earth, we are still here. So we need to honor that. We need to honor our ancestors, honor the folks that came before us that have endured, honor ourselves for continuing to endure a genocide, right? Black people are surviving a genocide. We are. So take that ancient wisdom, because at this point we got some hundreds of years behind us. Take that wisdom and really apply these lessons. And I know I'm talking about Black Americans because I am a Black American, but again, Blackness and anti-Blackness is global. So again, look to your people, like across the diaspora, we have been strong. We need to continue that and hold on to the lessons our grandparents and the young people are giving us now, right? Know which bridges to burn and which bridges to build. Know your absolutes. I am the type of person, for example, if a community member is harming people in the community sexually and doing a whole bunch of problematic stuff, that's a bridge for me to burn. I'm never going to engage with stuff like that. I'm going to help people repair and heal in the aftermath of problematic stuff like that, because it is very insidious and very everywhere. But I know that I'm not the type to rehabilitate a person like that. That's not part of my community, right? Bring back shame. I'm cool with that. But know where it's just like, okay, this person thinks that in Afro pessimism right now, maybe they don't feel like they want to participate in voting because it feels very violent for them to engage with that. Okay. This person thinks I need to vote this way particularly. Are there ways we can bridge build across? We are still getting our needs met. We are mutual aiding. We are collabing in ways to make our community safer, period. Some people believe in within the systems reform. Some people don't. We need as many people as we can. So know what you can do, right? What are your non-negotiables? Again, I gave a very severe example, but a very common example. People be misbehaving in these organizing streets, right? So again, know what can feel safe in actions. Do debriefs after actions. If you do go to actions, what felt good? What didn't feel good? Who moved funny? Know those things. What feels non-negotiable for you and your safety, right? And then what can you actually tolerate? I can't tolerate liars and schemers in my life. Some people don't mind people that do a little white lie or a little lie of omission. Know what your boundaries, know what what you can tolerate. Some people I'm like, oh, I know you a character at this community meeting. I'm gonna let you stay a character and I'm gonna keep my distance. I'm gonna say how I'm cordial, but we can do the things when the sky falling, but we want to make sure that I'm gonna protect myself. I don't want no nonsense, So again, know those types of things. Know what you can actually endure and navigate, right? And be aware, but we want to make sure we still doing things Afrofuturism. I love Afro pessimism alongside Afrofuturism because I really genuinely think we need to be dreaming on a new world. So be aware of what is going on in the current system, but that's just for your survival. That's not for you don't have to believe in those systems, because they've proven to not care about us holistically. That's why I study the hood, because specifically oh, this disinvestment in my communities is very deliberate. That's interesting. How are we supposed to make it through that? Let's think about it. So in terms of dreaming for the future, you really want to just spend time, make time for your whimsy. When you want to have space to think, dream, literally just look up stuff, literally just be oh, are there different ways of doing this? You don't ever have to, oh, this is always how it's been done. Like, you can always dream a little, baby, dream a little. Like, really take some time to build the future vision, right? And then I like to create a hope ethic, aka the things I return to when I am feeling very, very downtrodden about the world. So, for example, for me, I have 16 nieces and nephews as of what I know right now. So I'm hoping ain't nobody real extra fertile right now, and I'm offering them discount. But I'm sorry, my siblings and I got great nieces and nephews too, right? That seeing them make me believe in the world, make me believe in anything, like make me believe that a freer world is possible, right? So if I'm really just in the depths like the world sucks, I can just go look at pictures of my babies. Know what creates that safety container for you for when you are in despair. What actions can you take? Do you need to do a really hard workout, like to get back to your hope? Like put yourself in your body because your mind doing a brain spiral. Like really hold space for yourself to really dream, to have hope, to hold on to those things. Where you place your hope is important. You can't kill a people if you can't kill their hope. So come on, babies. Like we gotta hold on to that, right? And then try to be flexible, baby. Like things is gonna happen. Things is gonna happen. Like the world is very chaotic right now, and this is psychological flexibility and psychological inflexibility at the top of this diagram. But like you learn on the journey. The uncertainty is part of the journey. You need that, right? You learn in that. Please hold space for that self-discovery. You are worth the investment of learning, knowledge, like studying. Study yourself, right? And then also try not to be so rigid. Try to be as flexible as possible. We really want to make sure that you can navigate change as best as possible. Change is the only constant in this life. We really want to hold space for that, right? And then we're reaching the end of this journey, right? We want to think about what does self-love look like in this? What does centering myself as a Black woman look like in this crazy chaotic world, right? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does safety feel like? Know your purpose. Even if you don't have full words for it, know what you're here for, right? You want to think about healing in ways that matter to you. Don't shun other people's ways of healing. None of your business. Eyes on your own paper. But do the things that matter to you and don't let nobody tell you that you can't heal in the ways that feel good for you. If you are in destructive healing modes, that's not healing. That is a little bit of sabotage. And it's okay because sometimes when we're triggered and harmed and really hurt, we can sabotage ourselves. Really build the things that help you honor and protect yourself. You hear me? Like really sit with yourself. Get help when you need it. Ask somebody. Do what you need to do to invest in you and honor you and love you from a variety of different perspectives and ways. Get people that see you and love you for that, right? For everything that you are. The sky might be falling, but you are here and you are rooted. In sum, I also want to think about, so in sum, I really want to hold space for, we are some of the most magnanimous beings on this planet. Black American culture, the one I represent specifically, is about making it through anything. Seeing the horrors of the world and still deciding to offer this world children. Seeing the horrors of this world and still deciding that my life is worth living, right? So what does it actually mean to feel liberated in this work and in our ways of being? It's so important that we hold space for that, right? So here's a cheat sheet. Basically, this is just a whole bunch of stuff that we just covered. All right. So design your self-care plan. Set up your weeks ahead of time. Take that time to yourself to honor yourself, right? Sleep hygiene. Take some breaks off of that news when you need, have dedicated time during the day to do all of that, right? What you need to do. Build community. Know that it's all right. You ain't gotta, like, not everybody's gonna understand your boundaries. It's okay to be misunderstood. Know that people will not always respect you. So stand on your self respect. Establish those healthy boundaries in these workplaces, in your business practices. Ensure that you can hold space for yourself in your business as well. So, shameless plug for Dreamkeep Consulting. If you like the flow of this customized session today, because this was made just for you, I can pretty much make a workshop about anything. I am a public health educator. I am a teacher. I literally specialize in education for my bachelor's, social work management. That's why I'm really good with leadership development and things like that. Trauma is also one of my specialties, but youth development. If you are serving youth, if you are showing up in those ways and you need some help, let me know. All right. Like, so anything that you need, understanding mental health, things like that. I live myself with complex PTSD, just lived a hard life real young. It's okay. Here and doing my work in the world, right? So, shameless plug. If you need us, if you need to facilitate a hard conversation, we here. All right. So stay in touch. All right. Stay in touch. Again, this is our service listing. If you go to this QR code, you are going to my link tree. If you like my voice and want to know more about my journey and where I'm going and my radical thoughts and stuff, subscribe to my Substack. If you want to schedule a 30-minute conversation so that we can really chat about what you might need, what your organization might need, what your friend's organization might need, let me know. Want to give me some feedback, anything like that, just let me know. Like, it's okay. And follow the Instagram, please. We need more followers as I begin to continue to share and rebuild and really restore after recovering from fibroids these last few years. I'm really excited to hold and build space with y'all. So again, that call to action is keep in touch, stay in touch. Let's keep building community.